Hurricane Irma's winds ripped through Florida. 3 major Montana wildfires received funding from FEMA. And a Congolese family celebrates a year in Missoula.
Powered by the Montana Television Network. This is the 10 o'clock news on KPAX, Montana's news leader.
Good evening, I'm Kent Lutzen. Montana's Democratic Senator Jon Tester secures federal funds for 3 major wildland fires, 2 of which are in western Montana. Just a few days ago, Tester invited President Donald Trump to tour the devastation left by Montana's fire season. In a release today, Tester said Washington must do its part to ensure lives, homes, and property are protected. The Federal Emergency Management Agency will provide funding to help the Rice Ridge Fire in Missoula and Powell counties, the West Fork Fire in Lincoln County, and Alice Creek Fire in Lewis and Clark County. The Fire Management Assistant Grant makes FEMA funding available to pay 75% of the state's eligible firefighting costs. The grant also helps with expenses for field camps, equipment, tools, materials, and supplies. However, these grants do not provide help to individual homes or business owners and do not cover other infrastructure damage caused by the fire. Here's some more specific details about the West Fork Fire. Nearly 750 homes are threatened in and around Libby. The fire is also threatening buildings, businesses, transmission lines, cell towers, and 3 watersheds in that area. The blaze started on August 30th and has burned more than 8,700 acres of federal, state, and private land. The fire is 0% contained. After being evacuated for weeks, hundreds of Seeley Lake residents are finally getting back into their homes, but fire managers do warn those residents to stay alert. The Missoula County Sheriff's Office has announced the evacuation orders issued because of the 132,000-acre Rice Ridge Fire have been dropped to evacuation warnings, meaning that folks can return to their homes. There are now just 6 homes that remain under a mandatory evacuation order. Evacuation orders and warnings remain in effect for Powell County residents living east of the nearly 133,000-acre blaze. Crews got some help fighting the Sprague Fire in Glacier National Park. A pair of Canadian CL-415 airplanes, also known as Super Scoopers, dropped water from Lake McDonald on areas of the Sprague Fire. Now take a look at this footage. Folks in the park could see the firefighting effort from Camas Road overlook Fish Creek picnic area and Apgar Village. The planes have 2 pilots and have the capacity for 1,600 gallons of water. The Sprague Fire has burned a little over 13,600 acres and leveled part of the historic Sperry Chalet. The evacuation order remains in effect from the south end of Lake McDonald north to Logan Pass, including the North McDonald Road. Now, all of these fires have been creating unhealthy air quality across western Montana. However, that was not the case today. Missoula, Libby, Frenchtown, Seeley Lake, and the Flathead Valley all saw good to moderate air quality and some much-needed blue skies. Let's go to meteorologist Lewis Dortch in the Storm Tracker Weather Center. Lewis?
All right, thank you, Kent. Yeah, as far as your weather goes, it's been nice this weekend. We're going to start to bring back some poor air quality again to start the week. High pressure ridge builds back in. Now, not nearly as big as what we saw last week, but temperatures are going to start to warm up, middle and upper 80s Monday and Tuesday. This high pressure is also going to allow some smoke and haze to settle once again back into the valleys as we push into Monday and Tuesday. Then, by the end of the week, a big pattern change. We're talking cooler temperatures with rain showers moving in. We'll talk more about that here coming up in a few minutes.
Tonight, Florida is weathering a direct strike from Hurricane Irma. About 3 million homes and businesses are without power. Don Champion is in Tampa with this story.
Winds over 100 miles per hour are ripping through Florida. Hurricane Irma is also bringing sheets of rain, tornadoes, and a dangerous storm surge.
The storm surge will rush in and it could kill you.
Irma was a Category 4 storm when it reached the Florida Keys on Sunday morning. It weakened as it made a second landfall at Marco Island in the afternoon, but officials say it remains an extremely powerful and life-threatening storm.
It's a mandatory evacuation. It's not optional. As I've said, though, we are not going around arresting people, and we're not going door to door. If you want to make a bad decision that puts your safety at risk and potentially put you at peril, then you're going to make that choice.
The center of the storm is creeping north along Florida's west coast. Miami was spared a direct hit, but the city was still pounded by rain and a 5-foot storm surge. Damage is widespread, including a pair of construction cranes that collapsed in the wind. Tampa is feeling the effects of Irma's powerful winds, rain, and storm surge. The city is vulnerable to flooding, and people were told to seek higher ground.
If you haven't gone to a shelter, the time to do so is now.
Millions of Floridians are without power, and millions more could lose it. Residents are being warned that it may take weeks before electricity is restored. Don Champion, CBS News, Tampa.
Now, back in Missoula, it has been about a year since the International Rescue Committee began resettling communities of refugee families in Missoula. MTN's Augusta McDonald has the story of how they are giving back and saying thank you to their new home in the Treasure State.
With music, drama, and singing, 5 Congolese families are sharing their culture with Missoula.
Several of the Congolese refugee families who resettled in Missoula in the past year are preparing to put on a play next Sunday. Amon's one of the actors. Are you excited for the play?
Yeah.
Joel Kambale is the director. He says the production tells a story about 2 families in Africa and stays true to their traditions.
Yeah, there is a play. We have also dress for kids, dress for adults, and different activities like there will be questions after the play.
This is one of the children's dance songs, Viva Africa. I looked up some of the translations, and it's about pride in homeland or the grace of God. And then the adults dance to 3 songs. There's a traditional dance called Bamongo.
The performers say sharing a bit of their world is their way to give back.
You know, in Africa we have some cultures, and we want to show people in Missoula to know how our culture.
When coming from serious situations, you know, it's a hard change, I think, for everybody coming from overseas and then coming here and making those adjustments, weather-wise, lifestyle-wise, any other way. And then this is their saying thank you.
They're bringing life and light to their new home. Reporting in Missoula, I'm Augusta McDonald for MTN News.
Next weekend, you can catch the family's performance from 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. in the Sentinel High School Auditorium. That is Sunday, September 17th. Free of charge, but accepting donations to support the families. Now, coming up after the break, meteorologist Louis Dortch will have an update on the upcoming week's forecast along with critical fire weather. And one local business is making a huge impact